Have you ever seen someone wearing a red poppy in November and wondered what it signifies? Or perhaps you've been in a public place when at 11 in the morning everything suddenly stops and an almost sacred silence falls. This powerful tradition is for Remembrance Day, a day of profound significance that touches millions of lives across the world. But what is it really all about? And why do we continue to observe it more than a century after it began? Let's take a journey back in time to uncover the deep and moving story behind this day of reflection. It all starts with the end of one of the most devastating conflicts in human history, World War I. They called it the Great War, a war that was supposed to end all wars. For long, brutal years from 1914 to 1918, nations clashed, empires fell, and a whole generation of young men was lost on the battlefields of Europe and beyond. The scale of the loss was unimaginable. Families were torn apart, towns were decimated, and the world was forever changed. But then, finally, a glimmer of hope emerged. After years of relentless fighting, an agreement was reached, an armistice. This armistice, a formal agreement to end the fighting, was signed in a railway carriage in the forest of Copenhagen in France by representatives. The primary signatories were Marshal Foch for the Allies and Matthias Erzberger for Germany. The moment it took effect was precise and unforgettable. The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. At that exact moment, the guns on the Western Front fell silent. Imagine the feeling. The sudden absence of noise after 4 years of constant, deafening explosions. The relief, the exhaustion, the overwhelming sadness for those who didn't make it to see that moment. That silence was the very first act of remembrance. The following year, in 1919, King George V of the United Kingdom called for a moment of silence to mark the first anniversary of the armistice. He asked that all normal activity across the British Empire cease for 2 minutes, so that the thoughts of everyone may be concentrated on reverent remembrance of the glorious dead. And so, the tradition was born. The idea resonated deeply with a world still grieving, and it quickly spread to other allied nations like France, Canada, Australia, and the United States, which now observes Veterans Day on the same date. This shared moment of quiet reflection became a way for entire nations to collectively mourn and honor their fallen soldiers. This 2-minute silence is the very heart of Remembrance Day. It's a powerful, unifying act. It's a chance for us to step out of our busy lives, to pause, and to think. In that quiet, we remember not just the soldiers of World War I, but all men and women who have served and sacrificed in every conflict since. We think of their courage as they faced unimaginable dangers, their selflessness in putting their country before themselves, and the ultimate sacrifice they made for the freedoms we often take for granted. It's a personal moment for many, remembering a grandparent, a parent, a friend, or even an ancestor they never met, but whose story has been passed down through generations. Now, let's talk about that iconic symbol, the red poppy. Why do we wear it? The story is as poignant as the day itself. During the war, the battlefields of Flanders and Belgium were churned into a sea of mud where almost nothing could grow. But in a strange and beautiful quirk of nature, the disturbed soil created the perfect conditions for one flower to flourish, the Flanders poppy. These vibrant red flowers bloomed in their thousands across the war-torn landscape, even on the graves of fallen soldiers. This powerful image was captured in a famous poem, In Flanders Fields, written by a Canadian military doctor named Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. In 1915, after witnessing the death of a close friend, he penned the lines, "In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row." The poem was a sensation, and the poppy became an instant and enduring symbol of remembrance. An American professor, Moina Michael, was so moved by the poem that she campaigned to have the poppy adopted as a symbol of remembrance, and a French woman, Anna Guerin, later brought the idea to the Allied nations. Here is the poem. I hope it touched your hearts like it did ours. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place. And in the sky, the larks still bravely singing, fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If the break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. Today we wear the poppy not to glorify war, but as a symbol of remembrance and hope for a peaceful future. The money raised from selling poppies often goes to support veterans and their families, continuing the cycle of care and support. So, Remembrance Day, or Armistice Day as it's still called in some places, is much more than just a date on the calendar. It's a living tradition. It's a promise from one generation to the next that we will not forget. It's a day to honor the incredible bravery of those who served, to reflect on the immense cost of conflict, and perhaps most importantly, to reaffirm our shared commitment to peace. The world can be a noisy and chaotic place. But for those 2 minutes on November 11th, we are invited to create a space for quiet contemplation. It's a time to think about the families who waited for loved ones who never returned. It's a time to appreciate the peace and security that so many fought to protect. It's a day that connects us to our history and reminds us of our responsibility to the future. By remembering their sacrifice, we learn the true value of peace. We are reminded that every decision matters, and that dialogue, understanding, and cooperation are always better than conflict. It's about ensuring that their sacrifice was not in vain, by striving to build a world where such losses are never repeated. So, the next time you see a poppy, or hear the call for the 2-minute silence, you'll know the deep history and meaning behind it. You'll know it's a legacy of hope born from a time of great sorrow. It's our collective way of saying thank you, and we will remember them. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore the meaning of Remembrance Day. If you found this video meaningful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more stories that connect us to our past. Let us know in the comments how you and your community observe this important day. Till next time, take care.